Hey, Shalom Akim Shalom, man. Yabba Shemel Shai, Braka Thumb. To my dear brothers out there, you little amount of sisters, worshiping Yabba Shemel Shai in spirit and in truth. Check the feed real fast. Alright. Hey, feeling way better today, brothers. Hey, feeling way better than I was yesterday. Throughout for all the brother who prayed, threw prayers up, and hey, this is just a part of the battle. But throughout, I feel better. Let's see what Yahweh Shemel Shai had for us today. Hey, but with that being said, let's give our praises to the creator of the heavens and the earth, the God of the Bible, Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Harakak Quadash. Yahweh, that's the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai, that's the beloved Son. The Harakak Quadash is the Holy Spirit. And what you just heard, how I spoke it, was in the Paleo Hebrew. Okay? All right, so double honors to the apostles over there at Great Millstone. Okay? They taught us the true understanding. Still to this day, they out there. They doing their thing. Beautiful examples. And that's who the Lord has set up, man. If you want to know the truth, if you want to receive salvation, 100% truth is found over here at Great Millstone. And we don't have to, we don't speak it. Our actions talk for us. Okay? Hey, but with that being said, though, man, we here at a time for story number 7. And I'm going to go into why the Northern Kingdom was kicked out. Because last night I couldn't really sleep too much. So I had the Bible Is playing. Okay, you get the Bible Is app, where it reads to you with dramatic fashion of the King James, But I was listening to the second book of Kings, and I was just peeping out the kings were wicked, man. You had a lot of wicked kings, especially amongst the Northern Kingdom. But the Southern Kingdom, you had a couple of few good, righteous kings. But predominantly all the Northern Kingdom, all the kings was wicked. And I went through the whole history years ago, and I proofread it myself. There was not a Israel of the Northern Kingdom king that was just solid all the way through his reign. You had Jehu, who did a good deed, but he resorted back to worshiping other gods. And who was the Northern Kingdom? That's you have the Southern Kingdom and the Northern Kingdom of Israel. The Northern Kingdom is the Latino and Native Latino indigenous people of Central, North, and South America. You make up the Northern Kingdom of Israel, or the 10 lost tribes, as certain books like to write it. You know what I mean? And the Southern Kingdom is the Negro, West Indian, Haitian man. We all the Israelites collectively, but the Northern Kingdom, they got kicked out first from the land of Israel before the Southern Kingdom got kicked out. Okay? Now, jump into the history. You Latino and indigenous, you believe that America, you just been here in America the whole time, and this is your native land, and Spanish is your language. No, man, that was all you losing yourself. Because when you left from Israel in the 7th century, okay? The 7th century, you left from Israel, which was about 350 years, roughly before Yahweh Shai would come, or the Lord would come. You see? You was already, I'm sorry, I think I got those dates wrong. I would have to go back and meditate because those dates get a little tricky. But forgive me, let me retract that statement. But definitely, before the Babylonians reigned in Nebuchadnezzar, you were out of there. You were out of there. When the Assyrians had that rulership, that's when you got kicked out of the land and you left from Assyria and you came over here to the Americas. And over here you lost your tribes, your names, your language, all of that. So now you walking around calling yourself Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans, Chileans, Brazilians, Guatemalans, Central Americans, okay? Colombians, North American Indians, Seminole Indians, that's what you're calling yourself because you lost yourself when you left from the land of Israel. You started to decline, okay? And this tells you what happened to you, why the Lord did it to you. It tells you right here in 2 Kings 17:1. It says, in the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hosea, the son of Elah, to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years. So Samaria was where the northern kingdom was. That was another name for the land. It was called the land of Samaria. Hosea started to reign during the time of the Judite king Ahaz. And Hosea reigned 9 years. All right, king over Israel, the northern kingdom. It says, and he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, but not as the kings of Israel that was before him. So there you go right there. It let you know that Jake be wicked, man. Jake is wicked. Okay? It says, it says, damn, I keep flipping the chapter. That's why. I'm sorry. It says, and he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, but not as the kings of Israel that were before him. Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria. And when you look up Shalmaneser, he's surely enough in the Assyrian king list. Just type in Assyrian kings on Wikipedia. He's in there. So during the time of Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, he came up against Hosea. It says, and Hosea became his servant and gave him presents. So when that king came up against Hosea, the Assyrian king came up against the northern northern kingdom king, he made him a tributary. He made him pay. Okay? It says, and the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hosea, for he had sent messengers to So, king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria, as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. So here it is. The king of Syria had that northern kingdom king in check, Hosea, and he had him paying year by year. You had to pay something, whatever he had to give up. But the king of Assyria caught wind that Hosea was doing a conspiracy with the king of Egypt, because he went down to go get his money. He's like, where my money at? And Hosea didn't have it that time. So it said the king of Assyria started to come against Hosea. It says, and shut him up and bound him in prison and put King Hosea in prison. And the Lord was allowing this because you're going to figure out why as we go down. It says, then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years. That place got besieged 3 years. Okay? And the Lord was allowing this Assyrian king to have his way. It says, in the 9th year of Hosea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria and placed them in Helah and Habar by the river of Gozan in the city of the Medes. So from that point forward, with this king Hosea reigning, the Heavenly Father had the Shalmaneser lock him up, besiege Israel, take it. Okay? He took it. You see? And brought the children of Israel into the land of Assyria and placed them over there. So they went into captivity. It's going to tell you all why. It says, for so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord their God. It always got to do with sin. It's always sin. Sin is why we lose. That's why that Assyrian king was able to have his way with Hosea. Because Israel were sinning. That northern kingdom was on some other stuff. Just like today. You know how you northern kingdom are? Especially with that idol worship, man. And that pork. Idol worship pork. That's why the Lord do things like this to us. It says, for it was so that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord their power, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt, from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and had feared other gods. The number one commandment is, thou shalt not put no other God before me. Them goddamn, them stupidos, right? Them stupidos, they was worshiping all type of different gods in the northern kingdom. Because when you read back in the story, when Jeroboam, the first king that was set over the northern kingdom to be a king for them, he introduced a world of idols to keep the northern kingdom from running back to and joining with the southern kingdom. So ever since Jeroboam, by the time Hosea come, Jake got all type of different gods. Just like today, the northern kingdom got all different type of saints. You know, San Diego, Saint Diego, Saint Carlos. All these different saints. You go into a if you got like a Vallarta or some type of northern kingdom store near you, they got a whole aisle they got a whole section that's dedicated to like witchcraft and all of that, man. Idol worship. They got the Caesar candles, the saints candles. They got the piñatas at the top. One of the piñatas is based after I forget his name. I know a Northern Kingdom brother would know, but he's based after like a drug dealer. But he's a famous drug dealer, like one of those they appreciate. You know, because probably he gave turkeys in the hood or something. But they have his head as a piñata, man. And that's why the Lord allowed this. It says, verse 8, it says, and walked in the statues of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out before the children of Israel and the kings of Israel, which they made. And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Lord their God. They were doing it secretly because we knew. You know? We knew. Don't do that. The Lord didn't say to do that, but they were doing it secretly. They was going out into the gardens and the groves. And I think that's it right there by the brother. I think you would pronounce that Melverde. Maybe it's him. I'm not too sure, brother. But the Northern Kingdom brothers out here, they you know, it was a whole adventure learning how the Northern Kingdom got down over these years. And now I'll be knowing like, wow, that's how they be doing that. But that may be him, Melverde, maybe him. But he be in a piñata. He'd be a piñata. Like, what the hell's wrong with the Northern Kingdom? Why would you have this crazy drug dealer as a piñata? But they have statues and all type of different little things. But they were doing them things in secret. That's how Jake did. They was doing it. Going into the groves, into the forest and worshiping the stuff. And still to this day, the Northern Kingdom is heavy into that. I just, months back, I was working and I stepped into the Denny's. And one of the ladies, she was like, it smelled like I think you call it bruadilla. It smelled like bruadilla because I had on I had on the natural oils. I had on frankincense and myrrh oil. You know, it smells good to me, but to them, it smells like witchcraft because that's what they be into. They be burning, you know, the resins and all of that to do witchcraft. They're using it on the left-hand side. So Jake is still doing that. That's why the Northern Kingdom is still bugged out. They got freaking mind. You bugged out. Right with the Southern Kingdom. Y'all both through. Unless the Lord have mercy on you. Okay? So it said they were doing these things secretly, man. It says, and the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Lord their God. And they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. And they set up images and groves, every high hill and under every green tree. If a brother may grab in the book of Hosea, there's a passage that says Ephraim is given on to idols or something of the sort. If a brother may, if not, it's cool, brothers. Oh, there's a spirit like a mug. Hey, as soon as I said, Ahabamoth hopes to be of that number, Hosea 4:17. Ephraim is joined onto idols, let him alone. And Ephraim represents the whole Northern Kingdom because he was set as the head over the Northern Kingdom, that tribe. So all the Northern Kingdom is given to idols. Leave them alone. You see? So they set up groves. They did all of that. Still to this day, they're doing that. And that's why the Lord ain't you know, the Lord, you know. Verse 10 says, and they set them up images and groves in every high hill and under every green tree. And there And there they burnt incense in all the high places, as did the heathen whom the Lord carried away before them, and wrought wickedness and wrought wicked things to provoke the Lord to anger. So they didn't care about what the Lord had to say. And that's why you got kicked out of the land. You ain't been back since the Assyrian captivity. The Assyrian captivity was right before the Babylonian captivity. So you've been out of the land for a long time, y'all. You know? They've been out of the land for a long time. You know what I'm saying? I would say 2,700. It's been 2,700 years, if my memory is serving me correct. I got to go back with these numbers, these dates. But 2,700 years, if my memory serves me correct. You know? That's a long time. You see? In the southern kingdom, been out the land for 2,000 years. You know? Give and take. But the northern kingdom, almost an additional 1,000 years. Because they own some other stuff. I remember I was driving, one of my partners broke down. I went to go pick him up. You know, he was like off the freeway where some secret house is. You know, there's a couple, houses out there, remote houses. And one of them was a Northern Kingdom house. How do I know? Because when I hit the corner behind the bush in their house right there, the side of the wall of the house is nothing but a big Guadalupe. The whole side of the house wall was Guadalupe. Not a picture on the wall, not a statue by the wall, but the whole house wall was Guadalupe. See? You don't talk about no Guadalupe and to the Northern Kingdom, they're ready to put a knife in your neck. You know what I'm saying? But verse 12 says, for they served idols, wherefore the Lord has said unto them, ye should not do this thing. Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by their seers, saying, turn ye from your evil ways and keep my commandments and my statutes according to the law which I command your fathers, in which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks like the neck of the fathers that did not believe in the Lord their God. So the Lord was sending you, the Northern Kingdom at the time, the Lord was raising up prophets. Hosea the prophet is one of them. Sending up prophets and trying to tell you, man. But no, you don't want to listen. So that's the reason you've been lost so long. You now we in 2023. You wholeheartedly think you Aztec warrior. You think you Mayan warrior. You know? You think you Eagle Hawk from the Cherokee tribe. But don't have no clue that your roots go even more royal than all of that. That's what you came into after you lost your originality. Because of wickedness. Wickedness is what get you to this point where you lose yourself. Okay? It says, verse 15, it says, and they rejected his statutes and his commandments that he made with their fathers and their testimonies which he testified against them, and they followed vanity and became vain and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom the Lord had charged them, that they should not do like them. And they left all the commandments of the Lord their God. They left all of them. You know? Left them all. All right? Real quick, brothers. Yeah. It says, and they left all the commandments of the Lord their God and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made groves, and worshipped all the host of heaven and served Baal. So the Northern Kingdom was seriously on some other stuff. You know? They were seriously on some other stuff. And that's why the Lord said, look, man, I can't deal with this. You know what I'm saying? I can't deal with this. You niggas, get out. You know how the Lord get mad? He kick you out your hole. He kick you out the house. It's just like just like the woman would do it. She get mad at you. She kick you out. But the Lord will kick you out when you get mad. He kicked us out of the garden. He got mad at Adam and Eve. Kicked them out the garden. Got mad at Israel. Kicked them out. Southern Kingdom didn't listen. Kicked them out, man. You know? Lord will kick you out, man. So they was worshiping all these different weird, just everything. Instead of this day, the Northern Kingdom is doing that. The Southern Kingdom does it too, but the Northern Kingdom, you can see it. It's like super ridiculousness, right? It says, and they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire and use divination and enchantments and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord to provoke him to anger. And still to this day, you got a lot of Northern Kingdom, they take their children to that Catholic church and they know what those priests be doing. They know. But you want to know what the Northern Kingdom, how they think? They think they get blessings behind it. They get money. Man, being amongst these brothers, man, I didn't have some crazy experiences dealing with just the Northern Kingdom testimonies when we out and about. You know, like they seen this one time. I was with Dawada and a couple other Northern Kingdom brothers. They seen us wearing stones, and one of the ladies came up and she admiring Dawada's stone, and she started rambling on her mouth how she worshiped some type of entity, and that entity gives her money, brings her money. And you best believe a lot of them Northern Kingdom women, that's what they do. A lot of them chicks on them IGs, you know, they be worshiping demons and stuff to get success and money and recognitions. Say I'm lying. Say I'm lying. You know what I mean? Northern Kingdom woman is fucking crazy, yo. Right along with that man. But that woman, though, god damn, man. You gotta be careful with the Northern Kingdom, like the brother gave a testimony. The brother, Ariazainala. Damn, I forget. It's hard to say the brother name, but the brother in Dallas, man. You know, the Lions in Rome brother. He get a testimony where the witch, they were trying to cast spells on him in his own house when he was trying to help them gather understanding. You know? So, man, Northern Kingdom, get your hair, do some stuff with it. Northern Kingdom be the ones that be telling you, put your period blood in you. Like, it was this one video I sent out to the brothers. It was this one Northern Kingdom old school lady talking about a ritual to get your man to never cheat. And she said, this is what you do. You don't take off your panties for 3 days. You keep on the same panties for 3 days. And then you take those panties and you boil those panties. You boil those panties and then you add it to whatever and give it to the dude. Yeah. And certain dudes I've seen certain dudes, he got over a spell, but when he got over the spell, he was coughing up hair. They was pulling hair out this man's mouth. He had a demon in him. But he got over it. He figured out she was doing that to him, and he was pulling it. And when he got it, took off of him, the hex, they was pulling hair out this dude's mouth. It was a demon. But a lot of the Northern Kingdom, they be into this type of stuff. The Southern Kingdom be dibbling, dabbling in too. Don't get me wrong. But that Northern Kingdom, you will see it. You know what I mean? Jumping back, it says, verse 18. It says, therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. The tribe of Judah, what it means, was the Southern Kingdom. That was it. That was left. Okay? Now, the Lord said he removed them out of his sight. A person would say he stopped looking at him. No. The sight of the Lord is Deuteronomy 11 and 12. It says, a land which the Lord thy God cared for, The eyes of the Lord thy God are always upon it, from the beginning of the year even on to the end of the year. The land of Israel is where the Lord loves to look at. So when he said, I'm going to cast you out of my sight, he mean he's going to evict you out of the land. And that's what happened to you. Because you was being wicked, the same stuff you're doing today. You're worshiping every God besides the Heavenly Father. You see? All right? That's why it's happening. That's why you got the boot. North American Indians, Seminole Indians, Latino speaking tribes, Hispanics, okay? Central Americans, South Americans, Cubans, Puerto Ricans, y'all, you got kicked out. Okay? Going back to the northern kingdom of the 12 tribes of Israel. You're the northern kingdom. You see? It says, therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. Also Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord their God, but walked in the statutes of Israel which they made. And the Lord rejected all the seed of Israel and afflicted them and delivered them into the hand of spoilers until he had cast them out of his sight. For he rent Israel from the house of David and made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king. And Jeroboam drave Israel to follow the Lord. And Jeroboam drave Israel from following the Lord and made them sin a great sin. So all Israel eventually was doing something the Lord was like, man, get out of here, man. Get out of here. That's how the Lord did us. But when Jeroboam got into to be the king over the northern kingdom, he introduced a world of trouble for the northern kingdom. And still to this day, the northern kingdom is hooked on him. Hooked on it like it's a potent drug. You see? I was thinking of another type of witch testimony, but it escaped my mind. It said, for the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did, and departed not from them, until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight. And he said, as he had said by all his servant the prophets, so was Israel carried away out of their own land onto, listen to this part. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria onto this day. Now check it out. I'm pretty sure you got mad northern kingdom that's over there in that where Syria would be at today, like Armenia. Well, I would have to look on the map to see what modern lands is right there. But where Damascus was, you know, there's mad northern kingdom. There has to be northern kingdom seed all up in there. Okay? It has to be. That's why a lot of those Armenians, a lot of them beat Jake. Because it goes back to us getting kicked out of our land and being amongst the Assyrians. But check it out. There's a spiritual Assyria. Okay? There's a spiritual Assyria. And the northern kingdom is there right now. Okay? And that spiritual Assyria is America. Okay? Because you can find that in what is that in Isaiah 10? Isaiah 10 and 5. It says, O Assyrian, the rod of my anger, and the staff in their hand is my indignation. Now the Assyrian was oppressor, but Esau represents that now. He's the modern day Assyrian, oppressing the nation of Israel. Okay? It says, I will send him against a hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him charge to take the spoil and to take the prey and to tread them down like the mire of the streets. And Esau have did that from the conquistadors, the Spaniards, the British. He came over here and took Central, North, and South America and the islands by force. And we all know, because it's written in history, Bartholomew de las Casas, that book, Devastation of the Indies, and etc. on. So the Lord allowed this. You in Assyria to this day. You in captivity to this day because of our wickedness. Okay? This was us. You know? I'm guilty of this. We all guilty of this. It's pretty crazy though, man. What's going on here, man? There's something wrong. So I get real quick, a tablet just went white. Just like a white screen. Yeah, there we go. All right, this back in 2 Kings 17. And yeah, that's it right there, you know. That's pretty much it right there. That, you know, you get the story goes on a little further, but it goes into like different things that happen. But that's the point of why you got kicked out, because you was being wicked. You was being wicked, and you're not Mexicans, you're not Aztecs, you're not Mayans, Central Americans, you're not Puerto Ricans, you're not Dominicans, you're not Chileans, Brazilians, Colombians. Okay, Argentinians, you're not none of those. Mexicans, you know, Central Americans, you're not none of those. You are the 10 tribes of Israel. Okay? Now let's get that. Let's get that in second address. This is what tells you how you got here. Second address 13 and 40. It says, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoner out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Shalmaneser the king of Assyria led away captive and carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. So you left from the Assyrian captivity, you counseled and said, I'm going to go to a land where never mankind dwelt. And that was the Americas. Okay? It says that they might keep their statues which they never kept in their own land. Your purpose was good. You wanted to come over here and worship the Lord and do it right. But you didn't end up doing that. You end up becoming 200 tribes and tribal wars. See, that's the spirit. Now it came back to me. The Northern Kingdom, you was creating these pyramids and then cutting the hearts out of your fellow brother and throwing their heads down a 20-step pyramid, a 200-step pyramid, and worshiping the sun god. So your intentions was good, but you fell into wickedness over here in the Americas. You know? It says, and they entered in by the Euphrates of the narrow places of the river. They went through the Middle East. They went into the Persian Gulf, went down into the Indian Ocean. From the Indian Ocean, they went down to the I think you call it the Cope of Africa, which is the bottom of Africa. The Lord held the rough waters right there, and you made it across Atlantic. That's how you got here. All right? And it's going to tell you that further. Like the brother just said, the movie Apocalypto depicts that, you know, where they was cutting out the hearts and doing all of that tribal wars. Why do you think these little the gang banging on the West Coast? That goes back to tribal wars amongst the Northern Kingdom. That's what it goes back to. Okay? And a lot of these gang bangers are Northern Kingdom. That's who they be. It be Gad, Reuben, Issachar, Gad, which is North American Indians, Reuben, Seminole Indians, Issachar, Mexicans, and Zebulon, the Central Americans. Now you got other tribes that sprinkle in with being, you know, part of gang stuff, but predominantly those 4 tribes, that's them goddamn gangbangers. You know what I mean? That's who them freakers be, man. Okay? And they still warring with each other, tribal wars. But now it's blocks and streets. You know what I mean? And I was just watching a video earlier of they were talking about how, you know, blacks and Browns are coming together, and the Judite was crip walking in the Northern Kingdom. Dude was crip walking. It looked straight up Gad praise dancing. That's what it was. That's what it was, man. That's how we used to dance. Moving your feet like that. How they move their feet, you know, doing all that stuff. You know? It says back in 2nd Ezra 13 and 43, it says, and they entered by the Euphrates by the narrow places of the river, for the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they passed over. So the Lord was guiding them, using the heavens, may even using chariots, and he brought them through the coast of Africa where that water was rough. It says, for through that country there was a great way to go, namely a year and a half. The same region is called Ashereth. So it took a year and a half to get there, because they went through the Middle East, and then go from the Middle East, they went to the Persian Gulf. Going from the Persian Gulf, they went to the Indian Ocean. Going from the Indian Ocean, they went down to the bottom of Africa, and from the bottom of Africa, they shot to the Americas. So that was a year and a half mission. It says, and it says in the same region was called Azareth, which means another land. Okay, and that's America. Okay, it says, then dwelt they there into the latter time, and now when they should begin to come. They were going to be in this spot into the latter time, which is now, the latter days, which we're dealing with now. They was going to be in that spot in America to the latter time, and until they should come, which is the southern kingdom. Because the prophecy was written that we was going to have to go into slavery by ships and be sold as bondmen and bondwomen. So that took place, and that's how the southern kingdom got brought to the Americas too. They got brought to the Americas too. And that's how we met up on the Western Hemisphere. We met up on the Western Hemisphere. Okay? And this is the latter times, and this is where the deliverance is going to take place. And the Heavenly Fathers is already patching up the breaches of the southern and the northern kingdom. Now we're coming together. Brothers from all tribes coming back together, acting like brothers. So this is what is that? Jeremiah. Let me see. What was that? Here we go. This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 33. It says, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel, the northern kingdom, and the children of Judah, the southern kingdom, were oppressed together. All that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. That took place in America, because when Jeremiah was living, the last time we was in captivity together was in Egypt. Jeremiah came far after Egypt. So what was Jeremiah talking about? He was talking about America, where the northern kingdom got over here, and then the southern kingdom got brought over here later. You know? And we're getting oppressed. We're getting pressed once again in the land of our captivity under the Edomites. But we're coming together through the Spirit of the Lord. And that's how, matter of fact, let me read the next verse over. In Jeremiah 50 and 34, it says, their Redeemer is strong. The Lord of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. So the Lord, our Redeemer, is strong. The Lord gonna come and deliver us. You best believe that. The Lord gonna come and deliver us. But I just want to edify. You know, we do this all the time too, man. But it's a lot of newcomers, and then a lot of times you just need to hear it again. Okay? But through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, you know, I hope that was edifying to you, brethren. I just want to go in why they got kicked out. And you see why. Because Jake is wicked. You see, your wickedness got you kicked out. But hey, through the grace and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, we finna go back into our land. Okay, and these Edomites, the ones who oppressed us and took and beat our heritage out of us, they're going to go into slavery. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that real quick. Akim, man. Yahweh Shema Shai, Barakatham. To my dear brothers out there, you little my sisters, stop by. I hope that was edifying to you, brothers. The sisters stay strong out there. Shalom, Akim Step. Shalom.